What's up, YouTube? This is David D2 Fit Life. I'm here in Las Vegas preparing for tomorrow, which is Krav Maga's Global's General Instructor Course 2 of 3. So before I talk about that, I like to talk about the whole process just to help some people out. I've had several different comments and several different emails about this topic, so I want to clarify it for a few people, all the way from how do you get to General Instructor Course 1, and then how do you complete 3? How does that process work? Okay, so the way that it works, if you look at KMG's website, Krav Maga Global's website, it does give you some kind of general outline on how to get to General Instructor Course 1, or GIC 1. There's a couple ways to do it. If you don't have any Krav Maga in your area, let's say, they usually on their website will tell you need about 4 to 5 years of experience in some kind of martial art, and you have to have good punching and kicking techniques before you even consider going to it. I've seen some people go to it that didn't have direct Krav Maga experience, and I did find it for some of them to be a little bit more struggling than somebody actively participating in Krav Maga. I do understand, though, if it's not in your area, I would highly recommend that you pick up the Krav Maga Global Practitioner DVDs and maybe go over it with a partner, at least until you know most of the material up to the P3, or at least know the techniques or seen them or something, because it's going to be a lot more challenging coming into that environment. Also, even though you're not officially tested on the curriculum in GIC 1, it is a test throughout the entire time. You might not get reinvited, you might have to repeat it. So I would take that serious, get those DVDs, review the material if it's not in your area. So now the second part is pretty much that your instructor, your Krav Maga Global instructor, you can go to them and tell them that you're interested in becoming an instructor. And there's no official wording, but I would highly recommend that you're at least a P3 before you go to GIC 1, mainly because that's the material that you're going to go through. You're going to have to know all of that, and it's going to be more of a refinement instead of having to learn on the spot while everybody else is refining. So that's pretty much the process there. You just go to your instructor, inform them that you're interested in becoming a Krav Maga Global instructor. They would have to recommend you, and then you can go to the course. So those are the two ways to get into GIC 1. So after you complete GIC 1, you will be reinvited if you do well enough for GIC 2, and that's where I'm at now. So let me talk about that. Okay, so GIC 1 was a 5-day course. GIC 2 is a 9-day course, and GIC 3 is also a second 9-day course. If you look at that material just within itself, if somebody's training 3 days a week consistently for month after month after month, after 81 hours of training in 9 days, it's about the equivalence of 6 to 7 months of training. So by the time you do 1, 2, and 3, it's close to 2 years of actual time training, or time that you put in, the equivalence of at least going 3 days a week consistently and never missing. So on the second one, you have to be reinvited by whoever was the instructor on GIC 1, and so long as they got their go-ahead, then you can come to the second one. So the material-wise, you go through the same test as the third one. The third GIC is where you actually take official test at the end. Now, if you're in GIC 2, you still take the same test, but you're not given the rank of instructor at that moment. You have to go through the same test, though. So you should, by the time you get to GIC 2, you should know all of your up to P5 material pretty much, and most of your G1 material at that point. Even if you're not ranked there, you should take it upon yourself to go through the material. I'm only a practitioner 4, but I know most of my G1 material because I want to go in to refine it, because ultimately you're going to be tested up to G2 material during your test. So you should know all of your P5 material really well, know your G1 material, and they're also going to throw in some techniques in there from G2. So I would say for GIC 2, you would want to be well versed in a minimum of all your P5 material from P1 to P5, and know at least looked at the DVDs, dry drilled the stuff yourself, some of the G1 stuff. So even in class, if you guys are not going over that, and you're getting and you're able to go to the General Instructor course too, it's highly important that you take that time to view those DVDs. You know, if you guys have any open mat time in your gym, find a partner and start drilling that stuff, because it's going to be a lot more challenging if you don't know the material. So to close, pretty much the way the whole process works is that you either need to be invited for GIC 1 with your instructor, or if you don't have one in your area, you have to have 4 to 5 years of experience. I would recommend highly that you get those videos, those DVDs, and go through them and know at least all your P3 material going to GIC 1, know at least all your P5 material going into GIC 2, and GIC 3 you're going to be tested. A minimum, you have to be able to test for the G1 rank. And if you don't know the G1 at least fairly well, you don't have to be an expert in that rank, but all the techniques in that rank, but you need to know them very well, because at the last day it's an 8-hour test, or around there, 6 to 8 hours depending on what's going on, who's the instructor, and if you don't know material, they will not pass you, and you have to come back again and spend that money, that time, that effort, and everything you did. So it's highly critical that you know it. Now also keep in mind that you're going to be there for 9 days, so even if you go in and you don't know everything, you're going to test on the 9th day, so that'll give you time to refine. So pretty much take this serious, guys. Cardiovascularly, you have to be in decent shape. You're going to be training for 9 straight hours, and so long as you take it serious, know your techniques, know how to implement them in a real fight, you should be okay. I hope that helped people. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments or send me emails. I will be posting videos hopefully daily, if not every 3rd day or something like that, depending on how sore I am and how I feel. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.